Hi, I'm Danielle Campbell with Best Ever Pads, and we see all sorts of things at the barrel races, and even though it's very important to have a proper fitting saddle, and I see all kinds when I'm there, and I gotta bite my tongue not to say anything, I also see all kinds of different things when I look at bits in horses' mouths. Now, I will be the first to admit, if you can go out there and win with it, all the more power to you, but I see bits that are upside down, curb straps in the wrong place, bits in their mouths backwards. So today we're going to have a little tiny tutorial on how to properly fit a bit in your horse's mouth. Now, a bit will fit your hands more than the horse's mouth 9 times out of 10, where a saddle, it has to fit your horse. That's first and foremost. Your fit comes second, but a bit, it does have to fit your hands, but proper placement is going to help with getting the proper reaction during your run. So Scoop's gonna demonstrate. Here I'm holding a Kerry Kelly ticket bit. The great thing about this bit is you can use this so many different ways, with a curb, without a curb, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that too. In general, the tighter your curb, the stiffer feel you're going to get from a bit. So a lot of times I actually use this bit with no curb strap at all. It's one of those bits that's made to be able to use with or without a curb. Sometimes I use just a plain leather strap or a nylon cord. You can use a chain. What kind of curb strap you use, how you adjust it is going to change the entire feel of this bit in your horse's mouth. But one thing always remains constant for me with every bit I personally use, and that's how far up in the horse's mouth I like it. Some people like their bits low, some like them to barely make contact. I actually like a bit to be a little higher in my horse's mouth, especially one that has some slide to it. I want it to already have contact. That way when I touch the reins, I want an instant reaction. So if the bit has to ride up in their mouth before it makes contact, it doesn't really do me any good. I mean, we're competing for thousandths of a second out there. I need reactions to be very quick and very subtle. Therefore, I want to do as little as possible with my hands, and that bit is my tool to help get that accomplished. So I'm going to put this on Scoop. I always have bit guards on my bits, but just for demonstration purposes, so I can show you where I like it on him, I'm going to put both of the bit guards on one side so you can see where it sits in his mouth. Another thing, you can see this is a 2-piece mouthpiece. Another rule of thumb, the more breaks a bit has, whereas if I have a chain or a 3-piece dog bone, sometimes even a 4-piece, I'm going to get more bend out of my horse, whereas a 2-piece is going to be a little stiffer. And a lot of times I ride a mullen, which is just a straight round bar, and that's going to be the stiffest feel yet because there's no breaks. Port can usually give you a stiffer feel as well. So bits are, some people, they don't understand a bit fetish with someone, but it's not just a barrel racer thing. I see cutters, team ropers, anyone who really knows a lot about horsemanship understands that bits are tools, just like anyone who, a carpenter, they've got all kinds of tools. They have 73 different screwdrivers, and I mean, I only need one because I'm not a carpenter. I don't build anything, but I do train barrel horses, so I understand the importance of a bit, but more importantly, a high quality bit and a bit that is sitting properly in my horse's mouth. So for me, the bridling and unbridling process, I take my time. It goes pretty slow. I mean, I ride a lot of young horses who might be losing caps, whatnot. So I always make sure that actually putting the bit in their mouth is a positive experience as well as releasing it from their mouth. So the first thing I'm going to do is I put my hands on each side. This horse kind of knows the drill. But if he were to have a problem, I would just put my middle finger over on the other side in the corner of his mouth, ask him to open it. I don't want to shove this in past his teeth. Luckily, he doesn't have an ear problem, so we do pretty well. As you can see, I don't do bridle paths either, so I always have a little bit of a mess going on up here, but I think it just adds to their sex appeal. I use a lot of brow bands. Another safety feature, if I'm ever in an O-ring snaffle or a hackamore, I always have a brow band with a throat latch. A horse can shake their head and get an O-ring or a hackamore off faster than you know what happened to you, and then you're bridleless. And that's a bad feeling to have and to be in. I can't really show this bit dropped much lower in his mouth because he has an abnormally large head. He's a dash to fame, so that just comes with the territory. I'd like to say it's because they have bigger brains, but I don't know if that's true or not. So, but this is actually exactly where I would ride. You can see we've got 2 little smile marks here. And that way, I mean, right away when I pull this bit, it's going to make contact. Again, whether I'm running an O-ring snaffle, a shanked bit with no slide, any form of bit with slide, this is exactly how I always have them in the horse's mouth. I never raise it higher. I never drop it lower. This is what I do. Unbridling. Also, this goes along with safety. If I were to have a German martingale, any kind of martingale tie down, anything on this horse's head, I would always undo that before I try to unbridle my horse. That way they don't get scared of anything and set back and have the martingales or the tie down still hooked up, which is going to cause a huge wreck. I've seen it happen in person. Not a pretty thing. So I'm always going to unbuckle everything. Any apparatus tying his head down comes off. Doesn't matter the age of the horse, whether they're young or old, I always let the horse release the bit from his mouth. I feel like this is so important. It keeps the horse calm, relaxed, and anything that helps keep them from being too apprehensive about having a bit in their mouth at all is going to help me overall when I'm riding them. So again, seems so basic, shocking how many people don't do it. Simply just pull the headstall over the ears and just let him, see how he just let that bit fall out of his mouth? A lot of people will just pull the headstall off, the bit hits the back of the horse's teeth, especially a young horse. They get scared, they bring their head up. I'm a huge believer that all of that stuff plays a role in how your horse is going to react when you're on their back and you're having to use that bit as a tool that's actually going to help you win money. I'm Danielle Campbell with Best Ever Pads. Thank you for watching.